Your ancestors have a message for you, and they want you to begin to know how the other realm works, so you never have to question whether they love you, whether they've stopped talking to you, or why is it that one ancestor comes and the other ones don't. And what they were saying on the other side is that each ancestor lives a very different life, different than what you would think. Um, when people say, the ancestors are resting, it doesn't it doesn't mean literally in a bed. Um, and I know sometimes there are beliefs around whether or not you should speak to your ancestors because you might disturb them. And you should always have a level of respect. And your ancestors are saying, on the other side, we rest doing things that we love, things that we didn't always get to do when we were living. And as someone who is a medium, the way they've explained it or the way that they've shown it to me is some people are living their lives, and it looks very much so like our world, but just slightly different. um, like, for instance, when I went to Charlotte, when I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, I went to a plantation and I could feel the energy of the ancestors, and they told me to go there. And as I was walking around, I could hear them. I could hear them walking around, laughing, making jokes. I could see kids running around. At the same time, there were um, like transportation type things, like people were going places. Um, and it was very different. So it's like the ancestors are not necessarily going to be in the time that you think they're going to be in. And there's not really a pathway per se, to get from one place to the next, because everything happens at one time. And some, usually for most ancestors, if they feel called to do it, will actually spend time reflecting on the choices that they have made in their human form. And sometimes that causes ancestors to not have as strong of a presence. And sometimes you'll feel other ancestors stronger than others. And that could also be that they are really good at their energy work. If they were good at their energy work when they lived on the earth, then they will be very good at coming through the other side. And there's only certain ancestors that have agreed to help you this lifetime. And it depends on your path. Like, it depends on what you have agreed to come here to do. Those ancestors will come to help you because they're meant to help you. And some like I've seen, an ancestor watching watching their family through like a TV screen. Like, that's how their world is. and it changes per ancestor, and it changes just on whatever they want to do, but they also get guidance about how to heal, and they really are like unconditionally loving. And even though it feels like sometimes they may not be there, they are likely there. They are just energetically not sending you the same signals as they would have before for whatever reason. It could be they just choose not to. um, it could disturb your path and your growth. So you may not be able to ascend as quickly if you always felt dependent on your ancestors, which is the opposite of what they want to teach you. So they could pull back their energy but still be present so that you can grow. And that's why it's always like so important that you express how thankful you are, and you light candles, and you say your prayers, whatever it is, however you honor your ancestors, or if you just speak or you make art. Like I'm getting like even some people crochet things, like I'm seeing these little flowers put on the altar, and pillar candles, glass candles, tea lights, seeing that. Also seeing food, a lot of food. And some ancestors liking chicken. um, because they're always gonna receive it. They always receive it. So don't ever feel like you are alone, because it's never the case. It's never ever ever the case. And they wanted me to explain this to you as a medium because they they don't want you to think or to feel that you are unworthy of their love, or that you have to work really hard to receive their love. It's actually quite the opposite. They love you even when you don't do your ancestor practices. Um, and they can feel your love even more when you do your ancestor practices. So kind of see it like that, where the more you celebrate them, the more they can feel love, and you feel your love coming towards them energetically. And I'm getting also that some of you need to clean your altars. Just to be clear. Um, and something I always teach people is make sure your altars are clean. Like, you wouldn't invite someone over to your house and make them sit in something dirty, will you? Would you? Like, no, you wouldn't whatsoever. If your ancestors were walking around, would your space be acceptable? Depending on where it is. Um, and don't be afraid to have fun. Like, I'm getting that some of you are really serious with your practices, which is fine, but your ancestors want you to live and have fun and be in joy, because that's also what they're doing on the other side. There's a lot on social media about ancestors being filled with rage and all of these things and retribution, you know. Um, but many of them are not like that. But many of them will defend you if they need to. They will absolutely protect you. But they're not going around burning things down, right? Um, but they will always help to bring some sort of justice to your life, especially if you are the one, which usually this message is for, the one who's breaking the cycles. They want to help you, they want to protect you, they also protect you so that they can protect their lineage and help you carry. I'm hearing the One Ring. I mean, who's watching Lord of the Rings? I love Lord of the Rings. Um, I'm getting a lot of Lord of the Ring references. Um, you can carry the One Ring and break that cycle. Cast it into the fire. Um, but yeah, know that you are really loved, and that your ancestors are safe and they're happy, because I'm getting that some of you wonder, and it makes me kind of emotional. Like, for some of you, maybe you've had members who have died or passed in a really traumatic way, but they're safe and they're happy and they're living. And I can't even explain to you what it's like when you can hear and you can feel and you can see the ancestors in their joy and their happiness. Like, it's unbelievable. It's literally unbelievable, and it will fill your heart. And the ancestors don't want you to be afraid of your gifts. Like, I'm getting that some of you might be afraid of your gifts and what you can do, because you know how powerful you are. And they're saying, hey, like, use your power. And also they're saying, like, we want to talk to you. We want to talk to you. um and they're waiting to talk to you. They're waiting to share a lot of love with you. So they thought that if you understood how the other realm worked, you would be more receptive to receiving them into your space. um and that they have heard also your prayers to them, or your requests to them, and and they are working as hard as they can. um and they want you to know that you deserve it, so don't ever feel guilty about asking for help. They're there to help you. They want to help you. So even first thing in the rising, after you do your meditations and all those things, talk to your ancestors. Just go say hi, tell them how your day is going, ask them how they're doing. um, Interact with them. Earlier today, I followed, I was like following what turned out to be an ancestor, but I thought it was my sister, um, into one of the rooms, and I stood there. And, I was like, hey, you could have just, like, you could have just turned around. I just ran all the way in here. um, they start to, play games with you sometimes and just have fun. And you don't have to be worried. You don't have to be worried. Uh, the only way, you would get a spirit that is not so great, which is literally just spirits who have lost their way from love, and are unable to move on. That's what happens to them. The only way that would happen is if you're in a space that maybe the land was traumatized, or the house was traumatized, and you might interact with those energies. But the ancestors are always going to protect you if you ask them to come protect you. You can also ask angels to come help you, protect you from the other energies that might be around if you're new to, like, venerating your ancestors, and things like that. And you can choose between if you want to venerate all your ancestors, or some of them, or um, only those of the highest vibrational light and frequency is what I usually tell people to do, because I definitely have been in the situation where I called in all of them, and it was quite the ride and thing to undo. But that's also the fun part of the journey. Like your ancestors want you to know that this is a fun journey, so you can lean in. You can lean in. um, you can trust where they're sending you. You can trust that they're talking to you. Like in today's session, someone was talking about how they kept being told that they needed to get salt, and I told them on the call that they needed like people needed to use salt. And so fun things like that will begin to happen in your life. And um, yeah, just enjoy your journey. um, I feel like that's everything that they want to say. Oh, and also, it feels like some of you celebrate their birthdays. Like I'm seeing birthday candles, specifically like four, but like colorful ones, and even cards, and like sometimes even people doing balloons. But it's like in your space. It's not like at a cemetery. It's like something you do within your space. Um, and they're kind of, whoever this is for, acknowledging that um, they're there when you do that, and they love it. They love it so much. Um, so so keep trusting and keep believing. And I know it's not easy all the time, but they're there for you. And I feel like that's probably everything. I'm not hearing anything else. So yeah, I'm sending you lots of love, lots of hugs. Be sure to stop by Z School for the Gifted. And also, you can book a mentorship coaching chat if you are curious about other coaching services that might work best for you. We can have a conversation about it and actually get you started based on my recommendations. So I can meet with you for a short amount of time and help you figure that out and get to know you. And also, below in the description, you can claim your free copy of the Empowered 5 Practices to Ascended Happiness. I love meditation. I highly recommend it. It's really easy to follow. The link broke for a little bit, but it's working now. We love retrograde. Um, it's working now, so be sure to claim it below. And meditating is one of the best ways that you can connect with your ancestors and help you be in stillness to receive their energy. But yeah, oh, and check out my music. Oh, I also have so many surprises. I might have to just do an announcement video. um, but I um, the reality show that I was on is launching in just a few days. And I'm really excited, and it's something that the ancestors and spirit led me to, and the auditions helped me while I was there. And I can't wait to share it with you all. I would love for you to check it out. I was a very different human back then, so I'm a little nervous about what's going to happen in this show. Since there's editing and you just never know. I had my days, okay? I definitely have my days. But I'm really excited for that. And if you missed the Black Panther dub teaser, the comic dub teaser, that is available, and it also comes out really soon if that's something you're into. I did the voiceover for Shuri. So yeah, I'm sending you lots of love, lots of hugs. I love me a good goodbye that's nice and long. So I will talk to you later, and hopefully I will see you in one of the sessions. Goodbye, everyone.